What's happening, guys? Jim the Game Guru with another game. We've got some Hardback. There you go, Hardback. It is a deck builder. Played quite a few deck builder games in the past, and this one is a deck builder mixed with Scrabble. So that's the best way that I can explain it. Scrabble, deck builder, with some powers and combos that you can get as you're laying down your cards and making words. So let's go ahead, dig in, take a look at the components, and just do a quick how to play with two players so you can see. It's a very, very simple game as far as components on the table. It's not many at all, but man, is it loads of fun. This is one of my family's favorite games. So if you definitely have a family that loves Scrabble, they're good. Odds are they're probably gonna love this game too. All right, so let's tear into it. Let's dig into some Hardback. Okay, so on the table, what do we have? We have a scoring tracker right here. This is a scoring tracker that goes up to 60 points. Now, this is probably the one thing that's probably my biggest complaint of the game, and that's because this scoring tracker is so stupid tiny that it's hard to get your little piece, your little meeple piece on the board as you're keeping track of the score. Over here we have ink tokens, and right here we have ink removers. Now, what these are used for is drawing in this game. This game, the cards do not have drawing abilities whatsoever. So in order to draw extra cards to make bigger words, you need to get yourself some ink. Ink remover is in case you decide to use an ink and you're like, oopsie, that letter that I just drew from that draw is too hard to use. You can use an ink remover in order to make that letter a non-required letter. Because whenever you draw a letter using ink, you have to use that letter. Right here we have the offer cards. This is basically your market of cards. And in this game, it's 7 cards in the market. A lot of other deck builders have it as 5 cards or maybe 6. This one gives you 7. Here we have the offer deck that whenever you purchase a card from this market area, you will then replace it with another card from the top. This deck is absolutely massive. There are a lot of cards in there, and you're going to need some help probably shuffling this deck into several different pieces. Now, I have it set up for 2 players here, and 2 players we have 2 starter decks in here. So this game does give you starter cards, and your starter cards are like right here. So these are starter letters. And most of these just give you cents, right? Cents. This one gives you a victory point. Anything with a star is a victory point to move your meeple along the track, or your scoring marker, whatever you want to call it. Another star, cents. These all give you 1 cent, basically, as starting letters. Here are your scoring trackers / meeple type things. Right here. And then they're like little books. They're little books with kind of a sticker there of the book. They're really, really cute looking. But like I said earlier, they are absolutely painful when you're trying to put it on the scoring tracker to move it across. So I'm going to put a red and a yellow down right now. So we'll do red and yellow. Now let's go over the anatomy of a card. So let me go ahead and pick one of these cards. I'm going to pick this G card to kind of go over the anatomy of the card. This game's theme is around novels. Okay, it's a book theme. And what happens is each individual faction in this game is a different type of novel. So like horror, romance, adventure. So those are the different types of novels that are represented in this game. Up here in the top left of on the card is the letter, and then you have the type of card that it is. Down here at the bottom is the cost of the card. This card costs 6 cents to purchase. These are the abilities right here of the card. So when you play this card down and you make a word out of it, you gain 4 cents. And then here's another ability here is if you can trash this card for 4 cents. So you can put it down, use it, And then you can trash it if you want to gain another 4 cents to use to buy toward a card. And then below this line, there's this line. A lot of cards have these lines. These are the ally bonuses that most deck builders, you'll have an ally bonus or a similar faction bonus. So this says if you play another, I believe this one's adventure. If you play another adventure card, you will gain an additional victory point. And a lot of them have these special additional bonuses. And that's where the combos come in. So this one is horror. As you can see by the top left, it is horror type novel. And what happens is you gain two victory points with this particular one. And then if you play another horror card along with this, you gain a victory point, and you take an ink or an ink remover, your choice, from the piles over here. Horror is the one faction that is, and I know I keep saying faction, it's more of like a novel type, but it's easier for me to say faction. I'm always thinking of factions with deck builders like this. But it is the one type that you can play that gives you a lot of ink removers. So every single type of novel will give you some kind of bonus more than the other types. And you'll notice too that with the font that's used in the center, sometimes it's hard to tell what the letter is. And that's why you're going to use the very top left too, because this one's a T. That way you know exactly what letter is it. And typically in most deck building games, you don't want to throw every single faction or every single type of card in your deck, because then it doesn't combo very well, and it starts to dilute the powers of the deck. Typically what you do is you do 2 specific types of factions, and then maybe sprinkle a third faction, a couple cards in there if it benefits your deck. Because as you play this game, you want to basically purge cards from your starting deck and then be left with these super awesome cards and then build that up, and you want it to combo nicely. Before we start playing, let's go ahead and dig into the manual of the game. So here's the manual of the game, good old hardback. And what you have is very good quality. It's very good magazine style quality. The printing in here is very, very small, as you can see. I'm not a big fan of the layout of the manual. I mean, it works. It's easy to read. It works. I just wish it had a better layout, but still, super easy to read, good quality. It tells you everything to do on your turn and how to play the game. And all the different, so here it is, 4 card genres. So there are genres in this game. So I was saying factions, but it's a little bit more of a genre. Okay, so there you go. That's the manual. Let's dig into playing the game. Now, typically in most deck building games, you start off with a 5-card hand. So we're gonna make, you know what? Let's make this person over here player 1. Screw it. So they start off with a 5-card hand. Now, let's see what we got in our hand. Looks like we got an A-L-I-N-T. What are we going to do? All right, so let's go ahead and spell a word. So I'm not going to try to concentrate on making big words because I don't want this video to take too long. I want to breeze through this video. So I'm going to do easy words just to show you how the game is played. So this one, I'm not going to do anything with. So this is kind of garbage. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in my discard pile right now. But I'm going to do lint. Okay, so lint gives me 1 cent for every single one of these. So this person gets 4 cents. So what am I going to buy here for 4 cents? Well, there's an H here that gives me a victory point. If I trash it, I get another victory point. This is for 3 cents. Let's do this. Let's grab the H. So we're going to stick that in a discard pile, because anytime you buy a card from the market, it goes right to your discard pile. Then we flip over another market card. That's worth 4 cents. I can't buy it. I only have 1 cent left. So with your 1 cent left, does it get trashed? Absolutely not. With your 1 cent, you can buy ink with it. So this person is going to buy 1 ink for them to use later on. So I'm going to put over here. I know you can't see it because of the black cloth on the table. So that's why I have this card underneath the inks over here so you can see them. But when I put them over here next to the players, you're not going to be able to see them. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this player over here is going to go, and they're going to go ahead and whoop, they're going to draw 5. Let's see what this player's got in their hand. T-E-S-L-R. T-A-L-S-R. Okay, so these are all money as well. What are we going to do? Can I think of a word? Not really. Let's do rest, okay? We'll do rest, R-E-S-T. There we go, rest. We're going to put this card in the discard pot. You know, maybe I'll move this over a little bit. This gives me what? 4 cents, right? 4 cents, just like the other person got. So they're going to go ahead and what are they going to do? What are they going to buy? I don't know. Let's do... See, this one gives ink remover and this one gives victory points. You know, I'm going to do this one because it gives an ink remover as well. So that was 4 cents. I used all the money. This next letter flips up. It's an L. All right. So this goes into the discard. Now the other player goes again. They're going to draw 5, just like that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what do we have here? We have R-I-E-B-O. R-E-I-B-O. Okay, and then these two are, each one of these are going to give a victory point. So I'm only going to get 3 cents if I use all of them. But if I don't use all of them, I might lose out of a victory point or gain both victory points. I don't know. Okay, so one thing in this game that's really, really cool is that when any card that you don't want to use, that you just want to use as a wild card, you can do that when you play it. So I put B-R-O-I here, and I'm going to spell broil. But I need an L. I don't have an L, so I'm going to flip this E over to make a wild card. So anytime you have a card in your hand, you could flip it over and use it as a wild card to complete a word. Unless you use an ink to draw a card from your deck, and then you're forced to have to use that letter. But I did not use an ink. So we got broil here. And let's see what I got here. I've got 2 victory points. So this person will say is yellow. So they got 2 victory points. So they move up on the victory point tracker. And then, well, how many cents do we have? We have 2 cents. Can we buy anything at all? All right. So I might buy this, but I got to keep in mind, this one's 2 cents. But and this one's 2 cents too, the M. So I got to keep in mind what genres that I have already purchased. This person has already purchased an adventure one. So here's a romance. You know, maybe I'll go ahead and buy, you know what? I'll probably buy this M right here. We'll buy this M romance and we'll stick it into the discard. So now I know I have adventure and romance. So I'm going to want to stick primarily to those 2 genres. So the next card flips over. Now these cards all go into the discard deck. Now what happens when you run out of your draw pile here, right? When your draw pile runs out and everything's in your discard, well, as typical in most deck builders, what you do is you shuffle. You shuffle your discard back into a new draw pile, so then that way you can draw your 5 cards for your next turn. Easy as that. So I'm going to do a loosey-goosey shuffle here. I'm not doing a real one. So now we go to this player over here. They have their 5 cards. And what do they have? AQSN. AQSN. Or, sorry, why did I say Q? ACUSN. All right, ACUSN. So I am going to do the same thing as the other player. I'm going to use this N as a wild card. I'm going to flip it over. I have SAUCE for sauce, like that awesome sauce in this game. So here we go. We've got 2 victory points. This person moves up 2 victory points on the tracker to make our way towards 60. So what do we have? 2 cents. That's it, 2 cents. What are they gonna buy? Sheesh. You know what? They'll buy this I, because it's worth 2 cents. And then go ahead. And the next card comes out as Q, worth 7 cents. Now, the highest card I've seen in this game is 9 cents to purchase, which is a lot of money. All right, so now these go all into the discard pile. And what happens now is we do a loosey-goosey shuffle and shuffle this person's deck. So then that way they can go ahead and start off their next turn. I'm going to do one more hand here because you guys can pretty much see how the game is played, okay? It's really easy. You put down letters, you make words, you get ink, to draw additional cards. And that's what I'm going to do over here because this person has 1 ink. So I'm going to spend it on this person's turn so you can see how that works. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards. We got all of these. So we've got O-I-T-E-A right there. O-I-T-E-A. I'm going to spend this ink and I'm going to draw one. And that's the H that I bought earlier. Now, since I used that ink, I have to use this letter. It is a requirement. Unless I had an ink remover and I got stuck in a shitty situation, I can use an ink remover to say, nope, this is no longer required. But that's okay. I'm going to use that. I have a T in here, and T and H usually go pretty well with certain things. But what am I going to make? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip one card over and use it as a wild. I'm flipping over the O. I lose a victory point because I'm not going to use the O as a victory point. Boo hoo hoo. And I'm going to do bathe. Okay, so bathe gives me 2 cents, 3 cents, plus an additional victory point for this H, because H gives me a victory point. Haha. So I'll move up 1 on the tracker, on the skinny-ass tracker. It's hard to move your pieces on. So now I have bathe, and I got, what, 3 cents? Can I buy anything for 3 cents? Can I buy anything for 3 cents? No, because everything is 4 cents. How crappy is that? Wow, this is going to go in my discard pile. I'm just going to buy 3 ink. I've got 3 cents. Might as well just go ahead and buy 3 ink. So now I have 3 ink. Now, if I wanted to on my next turn, I could spend all 3 of this ink to draw 3 letters that I would be forced to use in one word. Now, you can see this is how you do the monster words. Because if you don't spend any ink in this game, you're only going to be able to do a max of 5-letter words. But when you want to do those monster words, spend a bunch of ink and you go ahead and create the biggest word you can create with those. All right, so these all go into the discard pile. So this is going to be the last hand I'm going to do real quick in this game. So when does this game end? This game ends when you hit 60 points. When one player hits 60, when they click 60 or over, it will trigger game end. And the people that are remaining in the round after that person left in that round still get to play their cards. But anybody before that person cannot play their cards. So whoever's left in the round gets to play, and then the game is over, and then whoever has the most victory points wins the game. That is very, very important to remember, because if you're the first player in this game, you're gonna want to hit 60 or as close to 60 as you can before everybody else, because once that other person hits 60, you're not going to be able to cross the line anymore, right? Or because you can't play any more cards. You're done, basically. So if you're first, so this game, it pushes you to be that if you're one of the first few players, you're gonna want to go balls to the wall and try to get over the line as fast as you can. And then the person that's last in the round can kind of almost, just keep pace, but sit back a little bit, and then they can play their monster word at the end. So I feel like this game gives you a tiny bit of an advantage. I mean, when you're last, as far as the end of game. But in the beginning of the game, if you're one of the first people to go, you have a little bit more of an advantage because you get first dibs on the market. So, there's pros and cons of each position in the round as far as your play turn. So what am I going to do here? So this person has no ink, so he's got a S-T-R-L-I, right? Let's do S-T-A. Let's do this. We'll flip over the L. We'll use that as a wild card. And there we go. We'll do stare. Like a single stare on your stairs. I'm terrible at spelling, by the way, so hopefully that is, you can have a singular stare, and it does not have to be stairs. But anyway, so 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents for that. And then this person gets 2 victory points, so they move up 2 victory points. They are at 4 points now. And what do we got? 3 cents. And they can't buy anything because the lowest price card is 4 cents on the board. What does that mean? They're going to go ahead and grab 3 ink removers just like the other player. Now, there's one other thing about this game that I really, really, really like. And that is the fact that in this game, it promotes helping other people spell words. And how does it promote that? Because whenever it's your turn and you can't spell a word and you're having a hard time spelling something, you can actually give ink as a reward to anybody that helps you spell a word. And I absolutely love that. That way you're not sitting here waiting 5 hours for one person to take their turn because they're trying to think of a word, because there's other people in the game that are actually helping them create the word in order to get the benefit of inks. I do that all the time. Every time I'm playing with my family, I'm always trying to help somebody create a word, and I'm always like saying, hey, don't take this other person's word, take my word, so that way I can always get their ink that they're gonna give me. So that's pretty much how Hardback is played. It's actually a really fun game. I absolutely enjoy it. My family enjoys it. And if you have a family that enjoys anything like Scrabble and deck building, especially if it's the two, the deck building and Scrabble, oh my God, that's perfect combination. But even if they're not used to deck building, and my family was not used to deck building, but of course they played Scrabble, and they picked up the deck building mechanics pretty easy. And you can pick it up pretty easy in this game. Just like Star Realms, it's an easy game to pick up deck building. And they actually fell in love with it, so they really enjoyed it. We played this quite a bit. But that's it. It's Hardback. There you go. Hardback. And flip it over there again. Hardback. It's pretty awesome. I'm out of here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.